Hey guys, what's up? I'm CJ and welcome back to my galaxy. Today we're back with the Film Club series and today we are also watching The Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. This is my favorite of the two movies and I'm really hoping that there's a third movie that comes out and they don't ruin the romantic plot that was made in the second movie, because the second movie actually isn't based off of anything that really happens in the books to my knowledge, or at least the romantic interest. I think his name's Chris Pine. Someone in my comment section said the actor is named Chris Pine of... I always forget his name for some reason, but I know the actor. And I don't know the name of the actual character, but the Chris Pine person, he's not in the books. The love interest is actually the sister's best friend. The best friend's brother. The sister... Oh my god. The best friend's brother. And that stays like that, I'm pretty sure, throughout the series. So if they were to ruin that in like a third movie, I'd be absolutely devastated. I wouldn't be able to deal with it because I love the romantic plot throughout this whole movie. That's like the reason it's like my favorite one of the two. I know going into this there is an ever so slight sense of incest, though they're technically, because the Chris Pine character, that character is technically related enough to Mia that he has a claim to the throne. So technically, distantly, they're cousins, which is a little bit weird. And whenever I watch it and I'm like, there's something not right there. That's kind of gross. And they explain the relation in the movie as well. And I'm still like, that's weird. That's a little weird. But other than that, I'm pretty sure it's mostly a good movie and it's really cute. The Princess Diaries is an adorable plot. So let's go and revisit The Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. Mia just finished her college degree, right? I'm in the middle of writing an assignment at the same time for my university assessment. I have 4 weeks left. Mia is 21. I am also 21. It's weird watching these shows back and being like, oh, I am the same age as that character now. This guy's like every politician nowadays, old and asleep at the wheel.
I beg your pardon.
My nephew's mother was my wife's sister. Therefore, Your Majesty, I am pleased to say that my nephew is ready to take his place as Genovia's rightful king.
The Queen has an image of Mia in the background of her, like, study, her workspace. I think that's so cute. I love that. I love this couple.
Clarice,
Second chance at love story.
my darling, please.
I wanted to do this as a kid. Super iconic, but definitely stunt double. Am I crazy, or did they change the actress of this lady's maid halfway through the movie? I feel like I'm going crazy, but I swear it was someone else at the beginning of the movie. This is my favorite scene in the whole movie. Ready? Go away, mouse.
Love me tender.
Look, they're dancing. It's so cute. I love it. It's my favorite. Stanley, what are you doing here? Once again, they put Anne Hathaway in like the most gorgeous dress. That's such like a beautiful wedding dress. Oh, they're so cute together. Look at them. I love that they get married at the end of this story. Oh, her foot popped. The best fictional character couple ever. Okay, so it is the next day after I watched The Princess Diaries 2 because I watched that really late and I was doing an assignment at the same time that was due this morning. So I had to finish that assignment first. But we're back here the next day. There's barely any time in between for you guys. So let's discuss the little tidbits about Princess Diaries 2, right? One of the things I noticed throughout Princess Diaries, it was so weird. There was a lot of weird voiceovers throughout the whole movie where you could tell that maybe they didn't want to do reshoots, or there was like shots that didn't work out, that there were voiceovers. And it was almost always for, and I think it might be only for Julie Andrews' lines. Like, she had some voiceovers that were weirdly out of place, and you could tell that she wasn't actually in the scene, and it was just like, there was no voice, or there was no like dialogue that she said during the scene. It was just straight up a voiceover. And there were even some times where you didn't see her mouth moving and she was talking. That's so weird. That's just the biggest thing that I noticed from the movie, and I just couldn't, it's always so weird when you see that. It actually happens quite a bit in films when they don't have time to do reshoots and they have to like figure out an innovative way to fix the scene, and especially if dialogue or some audio has corrupted and you just can't do reshoots, they'll do like a voiceover. And in this case it happened quite a bit for Julie Andrews. It's like Julie Andrews had like a busy schedule and she couldn't come back and reshoot or something, which, like, I get it. Julie Andrews, I'm sure she's a busy person, she's an icon and she's allowed to do that. And it wasn't too bad. It didn't completely ruin the movie, but it did just take me out of the world a little bit, so I didn't entirely appreciate it. But it was just, that was like the worst part of it. Other than that, I think everything was pretty amazing, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I did want to address like the slight incest between Mia and, what was his name? Nicholas? I think his name was Nicholas. I was trying to figure out what exactly his relationship to Mia was and how he had a claim to the throne. And I don't know if I filmed like a clip and showed you guys, but it basically said that my nephew's mother was my wife's sister, and I don't know if that implies that he's eligible for the throne through marriage. But then if the nephew's eligible, why isn't the uncle eligible? So it's only the nephew who's eligible, meaning he is somehow biologically related to Mia. So he'd have to be like a distant cousin in some way. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. It's kind of a weird incestuous thing. I like to think, just for my own peace of mind, that it's a distant relationship, just because I don't want to have to like deal with thinking about the whole thing. I just want to like think that it's a cute little love story, and the fact that they're cousins, I don't want that crossing my mind. Okay, let's talk about the plot and characters and all the good things about Princess Diaries 2. I think it's actually a really good concept for an entire movie. I think that it turns it into a romance plot though, compared to the first story. So it's not like a rehash of how to be a princess in the first one and her getting her diary. She already has her diary in the second movie, and she's already writing it, and we get like quite a bit of I guess exposition. Like, it's a good way to flow into the exposition using her diary, Mia's diary. And we get like a couple of like princess lessons. Like, it's less like her mother. I think it's Queen Clarice. I thought it was Clarissa in the first film, but it's Clarice. Queen Clarice, Mia's grandmother, teaches her practically, more like through experience in the second movie. In the first movie, she learns how to be a princess through like actual lessons, and this is how you be a princess. And then she like at one point like tied her to a chair and made her like do like a fine dining experience. The second movie definitely has more of Mia messing up, and not like, she's in her early 20s. Like I said earlier, I am also 21 and I make mistakes a lot, in fact. And Mia being 21 and like a princess in the public eye, I could not. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, but like I have a very small, very small following, and like making huge mistakes like that is like so daunting, and I'm so glad I'm not in that position. But that's kind of how she experiences being a princess and becoming a princess in like this movie. She makes a whole lot of mistakes, and most of it is brought on by her enemies to lovers trope, Nicholas. And just as a side note, I realized just now as I'm like filming this that the Princess Diaries, is it no longer a princess diary? Because she's a queen now. Is that why they didn't make a third one? So if there's a third movie, then she's not a princess anymore, meaning it has to be a next generation princess. So this is going to be Mia's daughter, I assume, and Mia's and Nicholas's daughter, I hope. So it'll be her writing in the diary rather than a Queen Diaries. You get me? That is what makes sense in my head, that it's no longer the Princess Diaries, because she's literally the queen now. So it can't It has to end with her being a queen. But I still hope for a third movie. It's actually in the works as far as I know. But I think I'm going to make a whole video about that, about the works and like what potential storylines we could get from what I can tell from the movies. But that'll, like I said, that'll be for a whole different video. You know what just came to mind is the fact that every time I was watching this movie, the men in this movie, I hate it so much. They just kiss Mia like they own her, which is so concerning. It happened once in the first movie. It actually happens twice in the second movie. In the second movie, it's not like it's unconsensual, but it's like she wasn't expecting it. She didn't ask for it, but they just do it anyway. Like she likes that she's being kissed, but she didn't want it in the first place, which is like not great. It's maybe they shouldn't be doing that. It happened with Nicholas. So when they fall into the fountain at that like garden party thing that they're doing, Nicholas kisses Mia, and I'm like, does she want that to happen? Her foot popped. Like the whole thing in the first movie when she was talking about wanting her foot to pop when she likes someone. So that's the movie's way of saying, yes, she likes the fact that she's been kissed, so it's not weird, but it's also still so weird. And the second time that it happens is with her fiance. I don't remember his name. I'm so bad with names. I'm so sorry. But the fiance kisses her to see if there's like a spark just randomly, and she's just like, she doesn't. It was just out of nowhere, and that was really weird to watch. And yeah, no matter if he was trying to test if there was a spark, it was weird. And these men do not own Mia, and I don't know why they played it up like that. I can't get over that. It's just really weird. Let Mia choose for herself if she wants to kiss someone or not. People say this all the time about the Princess Diaries, but Genovia is like where everyone wants to live. And it was absolutely devastating as a child when we all found out that Genovia does not actually exist. And like everyone wants to live in Genovia because Genovia sounds so perfect. It's like did so well. And then with Queen Mia, obviously she's doing really well for the whole country. She's running it like a pro, and she's making it a great country, and I want to live there. And can we please have Genovia actually exist? I think the characters are extremely well fleshed out in this movie, aside from the mother and her new husband and the baby. And I really don't understand. It must have happened in the books. That's why they added it, because it doesn't make any sense as to why she suddenly has this like baby brother that is like practically irrelevant to the plot, unless they were planning on doing like something within the third movie with the baby brother. Who knows? But at one point during the wedding, or the almost wedding, the mother goes off to like change the baby brother and comes back and like misses everything. And it's like they're giving us like explicit exposition as to what actually is happening when they didn't need to do that, and that was really weird. I just don't think they needed to like over explain what was going on, and the mother didn't need to go off, and she could have just been in the wedding or like watching the wedding and been reacting to what was happening instead of walking away during her daughter's wedding. Like she should have been there for more emotional support rather than the grandmother. I know the whole thing was about their relationship, but the mother should have been far more present, especially when your daughter is getting married at only 21. 21 is so young to get married. Like speaking as a 21-year-old myself, like that's too much. Like way too young in my opinion. Like obviously people get married at 21, but like, well, that's enough. I think moving from the first movie to the second movie with Queen Clarice, the grandmother, Mia's grandmother, you know who she is, Julie Andrews, of course. I think her characters are really interesting with character development. She came into the story from this, like, she was an absent grandmother. She'd never heard of this grandmother before. Well, she'd heard of her, but she hadn't spoken to her before. She barely knew who she was. And to this, like, brilliant, close relationship of her the queen training the princess how to run a country. And I think that's just, like, a really cute character development for them. And it really drives the plot, and it just makes it such a cute little story, and gives us a break from the romance as well, especially since it's supposed to be kind of like this romance story, but also at the same time, it's not the only thing that's going on. So we really need to split that up in some way. And I feel like the queen and her relationship with Mia is kind of like that buffer between that, like those two worlds, is that she's like a grandmother and a queen, and she's like teaching her different things as like these two separate entities and trying to figure out how to be both to Mia. The best friend, I think her name is Lily. Lily, she is like this amazing comedic relief character, in my opinion. Like she's definitely comedic relief, but she's there to definitely help Mia become, like, make her human for the audiences, and to make sure, you know, we connect to Mia in a way, like see ourselves as a princess, you know, because it's like little girls want to be princesses, obviously. Well, little boys can be princesses, I guess. Be princess, prince, who cares? be whichever. But obviously, if you're watching the movie, you want to be a princess. So, you know, we need to be able to connect with her in some way. So we give her, the script writers gave her a best friend for us to see them as human, with human relationships and average relationships, and also connects her to the first Princess Diaries as well, and where it's essentially doing the same thing. It's keeping Mia as a character grounded in the story as someone who came from like an American school and an American upbringing to this new country, and it really adds to the story. I'm saying so much about the characterization that I didn't say in the first video on the Princess Diaries, but I really, like, I've been thinking about it, and the characterization, the more I think about it, is absolutely phenomenal, and I love that they were capable of doing that. Especially, I wonder how closely related, like how closely adapted it is to the original novels. I know the love interest is completely different, but I am wondering, like, if the characterization, like, is Mia the same clumsy little, like, young girl, teenager in the original books? I assume she is, but like how much was changed? Did they pull a lot of it from the source material? Did they come up with this characterization and the connections with their relationships, like, just for the movie, or was it all originally, like, is the credit due towards the author? I also mentioned in one of the clips before that you would have seen while I was watching the movie that I feel like they changed the actors for the ladies' maids. I swear I've never noticed that before. They look actually different. Like, there was one brunette and one blonde at the beginning, but I think they were different people. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of that, because I might be wrong. Maybe I wasn't paying full attention because it was like 3 a.m. when I was watching it, but I swear they changed the actors. I also absolutely love the little subplot of, what is his name? I don't know his name, but Queen Clarice. She gets her own, like, romance story and her happily ever after, and she gets married and she retires, and it's great and I love it. And Julie Andrews is just such an amazing actor. You know, I'm so glad that they put Julie Andrews and Anne Hathaway in, like, the same film, because their acting is so good together. It's absolutely amazing how good their chemistry is on screen, and their acting abilities are, like, on par with each other, and it's like, it makes the movie just so good. Especially as now that they've added, like, Chris Pine to the cast, like, 20 years ago, but now, like, when you get to the second movie, you see that Chris Pine is a new character in the movie. I think that it's so good because he's also an amazing actor and has, like, the craziest chemistry on screen with Anne Hathaway, and it's just so good for their romance plot as well. I definitely think overall, at least this is my opinion, if you guys want to disagree, then go ahead and disagree, but in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I do think that the second movie is significantly better than the first movie, but that's just because, like, I think the first movie came out in 2001, before I was born, and then the next one is 2004, after I was born. So that's kind of the one I grew up with, so maybe I'm more used to it, like, used to watching the second movie. But no, like, even now, like, looking back at it, I definitely think there's better characterization with the second movie, and the plot points are just far more interesting. Not to say the first movie isn't interesting, I just think it's more engaging, but that might just be because I'm into the romance. Maybe that's just what I'm into, the romantic subplot. Not even subplot, the romantic main plot. I just love that it's an enemies to lovers trope, but not in the way that it's, like, harmful. I know that's really popular in, like, romantasy at the moment, and, like, dark romance. Like, guys, the things that you guys are reading are just straight up abuse. Like you need to not be watching that. But the enemies to lovers trope, where it's like the genuinely really like not harming each other but just like playing around, messing with each other, that sort of thing is like one of my favorite tropes. Like you'll see it with what is it, Gilbert Blythe and Shirley Cuthbert in Anne of Green Gables, enemies to lovers, but not in a harmful way, in a like an adorable little thing like way. Those are the tropes. That trope in essence, like the more innocent side, it's like I love that. That's my favorite kind of trope. But now we're moving on from the Princess Diaries and discussing all those plot points to the vote for what we're going to be watching next week for the film club. If you guys don't know, on my community tab each week we go through and vote on what the next movie or film, whatever show, what that we're going to be watching, and that means you guys can kind of participate in the film club properly as well, and you can decide like what we're going to watch. So you guys like go and watch the film after I tell you guys what we're watching, and I'll watch it and I'll come back with a video and you guys can discuss your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you guys want to help me narrow down the options that I put up on my community tab, you can also join my Discord and I'll discuss like options that I'm thinking about, and you guys can be like, yes, let's go with that option, or you guys can make suggestions on what I can put on the poll. But what I put up on the poll was the movies. There was 69 votes in total, and there's Clueless, Gravity Falls Season 1, The Parent Trap 1998, which is the Lindsay Lohan one. There's an older one, a more original one. The Lindsay Lohan one, surprisingly to me, because that's the one I grew up watching, is actually a remake. So Clueless got 28%, and both Gravity Falls and The Parent Trap actually got 36%. So they actually tied, which is interesting. So I'm not really sure what to do for a tiebreaker. If you guys want to let me know what to do for a tiebreaker in future, but I want to like announce it now. So I'm gonna just say The Parent Trap, because that was the one that was winning the whole time. Every time I checked it, it was The Parent Trap. But Gravity Falls also was like a series, so if you guys are gonna have to like really want to watch it to like binge watch it, if I'm gonna choose that one. But just like because The Parent Trap was winning the whole time, that's the one I'm gonna choose. I'm definitely going to put Gravity Falls on the next list, so if you guys want to vote for that one, definitely go over to my community tab and vote for Gravity Falls again. But like I said before, let me know what you guys want to see me do for tiebreakers in future. Usually there's not a tiebreaker, and when I opened this before recording the video I was like, what do I do? I don't know how to do a tiebreaker. But yeah, so next week we are going to be watching The Parent Trap 1998. So hopefully you guys enjoy that film, The Parent Trap. I think, to my knowledge, it was the first time that they used that technology or technique to like do that split screen where you can use just one actor and have them in like the scene at the same time. It was like one of the first ones that like did it and did it well, but I also might be wrong, so I'm gonna have to look that up first before I film the next video for film club. But yeah, we're watching The Parent Trap, so you guys go and watch that and I'll watch it and I'll bring you guys a video out next weekend. But that is it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe because that really helps out my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And comment down below what you thought of The Princess Diaries. I would love to know all of your thoughts. Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite plot, subplots in the movies? And who was your favorite relationship? Was Lily and that guard one of your favorite relationships? I don't know. They were a good relationship as well. I didn't really talk about that one, but they were great. They were fun to watch as comedic relief. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. But I have been CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!